Welcome all to this tutorial. Today I will talk a bit about Network Manager tools, and persistent network configuration. First things first, let's go ahead and see how a non-persistent network configuration looks like. How would you perform it, and what do I mean by non-persistent? Well, first things first, non-persistent simply means that it will not survive a system-wide reboot, and it will not survive the interface restart. So if you bring the interface down and up, the configuration will be gone. One such example would be just to add a different IP address. If I type in IP ADDR show, I will see that it has an IP address of 192.168.1.102, and that is the IP address which I would like to change. So go ahead and type in IP ADDR, and the help menu here is a bit different from the ones that you've seen before. You do not require any hyphens, rather instead you just type in help, and there you have it. So here we can take a look at the help bar, and what I'm interested in the most is the syntax of the command. So IP ADDR, and then it says in the first line add, change, replace. At the moment I would like to add, and well, then I need to type in the interface address that I would like to add, so 10.10.10.10. I'm just giving a random interface address here without much meaning, but doesn't really matter. I can now go ahead and type in dev, and the dev will be enp 30s if I'm 3s0 if I'm not mistaken. Just go ahead and see, is it enp 0s3? Okay, so my bad here. 0s3. That's it. Operation not permitted. Why? Well, we are a regular user, we're not root, so let's go ahead and relog as root. No big deal there. Oops. There we go. I'm just going to go ahead and copy paste this command. So let's put it here. And now we can type in IP ADDR show. Now you can see that there is an additional IP address listed here. Notice that we did not delete the previous one. We did not use the change command, rather instead we have added a new IP address which is also assigned to this interface. Interfaces can have as many IP addresses as you like. It's I'm sure that there is a limit up there somewhere, but generally you can assign multiple IPs to a single interface. That is not a big deal. If you just take a look at the IP ADDR help, you have some other options here, such as to save it or to flush it. Well, sorry, no, this is not what I'm supposed to be looking at. You have a command to add it, to change it, or to replace it. For example, you have this one here to delete it. So interface address and then the dev. Let's go ahead and delete the one that we've just entered. So IP ADDR del, and it's enp0s3. What is next? We need to type, oops, sorry. This is 10.10.10.10, and then we need to type in device, so dev enp0s3, press enter. Warning, executing wildcard deletion to stay compatible with old scripts. Yeah, this is a warning, not an error, so hopefully all worked out. ADDR show. Excellent. The old one has indeed been deleted. It is gone, while we have the new one that remains. Well, we didn't delete the new one. We didn't delete the old one. We deleted the new one, but you get the idea. I mean, you would just change the IP address here that you would like to delete and type it in. No big deal, really. You can type in any IP address that you want that is needed for the deletion, and that is all that you need to do there. No big deal. Anyway, that would be a typical example of, well, basic configuration which is non-persistent and it's not very reliable. I mean, you would usually use this kind of configuration to test something out, not to actually implement it. Let me just show you what I mean by it. So if I type in ap addr add, and if we type in IP, oh, this is not what I need. Actually, maybe. Well, there's a simpler way to do this. So it's nm CLI. This is a network manager client command line interface, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. We're going to deal with it now. Not much though, because there's a much wiser way of doing this, but let me just show it to you this way. So connection, and now we would like to say down, and just keep pressing tab, and let's say enp 0s3, press enter. Connection successfully deactivated, but notice that we have assigned an IP address prior to this. So if we type in IP addr show, this interface is down. We no longer have anything there, but if we go ahead and say up, it's relatively fast. The interface is back up, but the one IP address that we have added is gone. Here, let me just show it to you one more time really fast. There we go. Okay, so all see this. I have added the IP address, IP addr add, and then 10.10.10 dev and 0s3. Now we'll just type in IP addr show. And there you go. We have that second IP address there. Hopefully you can see it. Now when I do this, down, and if I do up again, you see the IP address is gone. So this is not the form of permanent configuration that you can actually make on the system that is valid or anything of a kind. This is just a temporary basis. That is all. For permanent configuration, you need to go into etc, where the config files are. Sysconfig network scripts. Well, let's clear the screen and do this is even worse, so ls is better in this case. And here we can see the interfaces. So we have the script for the first interface. It's ifcfg enp0s3. Let's go ahead and take a look in that script. Let's see what's in there. So vim ifcfg enp0s3, and here we have, well, I wouldn't say a tonload of parameters to configure. We have quite a few. We can add some of our own as well, but down below you see the second to last option. It says device, and then you have the name of the device, and that's the device. And then up above, sorry, a little bit up above, you have the name where it says enp0s3, just above the UUID. What else do we got that is interesting to us? We do not have the DNS service, which is odd enough. So let's go ahead and add our DNS servers here. How do you do that? Well, it's fairly simple. Need the insert mode first. Well, it's fairly simple. There's nothing really too complicated. There's not that much complication to it. First, let me just go ahead and check, am I even connected to the internet? So quit ping google.com. Okay, so I am indeed. Let's just see IP addr show. It does have an assigned IP address. Strange. So ls, am I picking up the right interface here? I am. Okay, so it's a virtual machine, no big deal. Let's go ahead, type in vim if cfg enp 0s3, and let's go ahead and type some of our own things here. Network Manager has already generated a file, which is here. Let me just show it to you just quickly before we, oops. Let me just show it to you quickly. It's cat etc resolve.conf. This is the file generated by the network manager. Clear. This is the file generated by the network manager, and you see the name servers. That's basically the DNS servers. They're typed in here, so 208.67.222.222. These are the open DNS servers, which my virtual machine has picked up from my physical machine, and my physical machine has in turn picked them up from my router, where I have configured my default DNS server. So I'm not using the DNS servers of my ISP provider, rather instead I'm using OpenDNS DNS servers or name servers, whichever way you wish to refer to them. No big deal. Anyway, if we go ahead and go back to this file, you can also type in here where, well, let's go ahead. Well, we can type it in anywhere really. So on boot, yes. Let's go ahead and type it in second to last. DNS1. That can be, for example, I don't know the OpenDNS servers by heart now, sorry, but I can type in 8.8.8, and I can type in DNS2 equals, which one was it, 8.8.4.4. These are Google DNS servers, which are public and free to use for anyone. OpenDNS is also free. I tend to use it, but you can also use Google, no big deal. You can use both of them as you choose and please. So these are some of the things which we can configure here. I do believe that it accepts up to 3 DNS servers, so you can type in DNS3 and add a third one, but this is really not necessary. If the second one fails, then there's a serious problem somewhere, because the first one almost never fails. Okay, so let's see what else can we change. We have the 2 DNS servers typed in here. Now I would like to configure a static IP address, so the first thing that I am going to do is, instead of DHCP here, I will go ahead and write static, and down below I will add a few lines as well. The first line that I shall add is NM, so network manager controlled, quite literally so, yes. And then down below I would also like to add the IP address, so IP-ADDR equals to 10.10.10.0. We know that this is not the current IP address of the interface. And down below, what else would we like to type in? Well, the mask. So type in net mask equals to 255.255.255.0. Really, we just need these 4 lines, and that should be it, although this is definitely not going to work for multiple reasons. But I just want to show you how a permanent configuration would look like, primarily because the router on the other side, the existing router, will not accept this IP address. That's one of the reasons why this wouldn't work. There are a few others, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not looking to connect to the internet or anything of a kind. I just want to demonstrate. I just want to show you how can you enact permanent configuration which will survive system-wide reboots and which will survive interface restarts. That's the point, that's the goal, that's the agenda of this exercise. Okay, now that we have that configured, let's go ahead and take a look. Just take a look at your network manager here. It says wired. You can either disconnect it, reconnect it here. So it says here on, and then you can say off, on off. That should be fine. Usually it will prompt you with the second network interface here, which you can choose, and the old one will be gone. The one that you've modified, you can choose it there. It will have the same name, so no big deal there. In addition to that, you can, aside from that, you can actually type in system CTL network. Wait. Oh, come on. Oh yeah, of course. System CTL restart network manager. Go ahead and press enter. That will restart the network manager definitely. And now type in IP-ADDR show. You will see that indeed we have 10.10.10.0/24 on our interface. If you don't get it straight away, as I said, just go ahead and click on your network manager here in the upper right corner and change it. You will be prompted with it. Another thing is to take into consideration is this /24. Let me just show you what that is. So VIM CFG. Oh no, it's not that one. It's IFCFG ENP. Okay, so you see this net mask that I am selecting now, and you've seen the /24 there back in that file. Hold on, let me just show you one more time so you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have /24 here, and then in this configuration file you have 255.255.255.0. Well, this is exactly the same on most devices anyway, in most places anyway, as me typing in, come on, no, I need insert, as me typing in /24. /24 represents well, maybe not the most correct of statements, but sufficient for this tutorial. /24 would basically represent 255.255.255.0. You have different prefixes. Here you can write 32, and then this mask down below would be different. I'm not sure which one would it be. I think it would be 252 or something of a kind, but don't hold my word to it. There is a good deal of math behind this that you do need to perform some calculations there in order to figure it out, but I'm just giving you an example so that you know what it actually means. You won't have to bother much or at all with it during the Red Hat Certified System Administrator exam. Okay, so let's go ahead and quit this file because I am honestly not going to alter it any further. I'll just go ahead and quit it. So you see that the interface configuration did survive the interface, us bringing the interface down and up and restarting the network manager as well. Not sure if I actually brought them down and up. Actually, we can just go ahead in case I failed to do this, but interface, everything has been restarted by the network manager anyway. We can just go ahead and type in one of these commands, so nm CLI connection down, ups, down, and now we will need it to go up. So we are stating network manager client, a command line interface connection. We're stating the status up or down, and then we're stating the interface. So up, and please give me the IP-ADDR show. You can see that the same IP address is valid. Again, it stands there. So whatever you do in that file is going to be permanent configuration that will survive interface restarts. So no worries there. Anyway, I am running a bit short on time here, so I will bid you all farewell until next tutorial where we shall deal further with this.